Welcome to another edition of Tesla Tips and Trips. On today's episode, I'm going to show you how to turn this into this. Keep it right here. All right, before we begin this project, I want to show you all the items that you're going to need to get it done. Tape, paint, nozzles, mask, all that stuff. So let's get into it. Okay, so these are the items that I'm going to be using today on the project. First and foremost, a plastic drop cloth. You can get this at any hardware store. You're going to want to use a lot of this because you don't want to get overspray in areas that has nothing to do with the logo. Yes, Plastidip is easy to get off, but this makes it a lot easier. It's easier to cover it before spraying in areas that you don't need. Obviously, some blue painter's tape. I'm almost out on this one, so I've got a fresh one here as well. This is key. You got to get one of these. In my opinion, it makes the spraying more even, and it also doesn't, your finger gets tired if you just use the spray can method. So this is so much easier. When I did my wheels, this was a lifesaver because I noticed I had some overspray, some drips and stuff when I was only using my finger. So this is fantastic. I think you can also get this at a hardware store, but I got this at dipyourcar.com. Alcohol. You're going to want to use alcohol to clean the logo pretty well, and the reason behind that is if you use a water-based solution to wipe it down and clean it, it may get underneath the logo and still be wet. This dries really quickly and doesn't hurt anything, so don't worry about it. You can always treat your paint and the Plastidip for that matter later with like a ceramic or a wax or whatever. It'll handle it just fine. So this and a microfiber cloth. This is obviously optional. It's not absolutely necessary for a project this small, but I'm going to use it. So it's a 3M mask, rated for paint and all that stuff. So I used it for plastic dipping my wheels. Go check out that video on how the longevity was on my Model 3. I think you'll be surprised. Oh, and don't forget the Plastidip. I've had these sitting in the sun. That's a key component to this. So we're going to use the red on the logos, front and back. Probably going to do 4 to 5 coats. Then I'm going to do a little bit of glossifier. I don't want it fully glossy, kind of looking for a, I don't know, satin finish. So not flat. This will add a little gloss and sheen. Maybe 2 coats of this. And then for the dual motor, I'm going to use a little leftover Hyperdip that I had from my wheels. This has glossifier built in. This is already satin, so that's going to look pretty cool. And then of course I'm going to do blue painter's tape over the red line, because everybody knows what the red line means, and we want to keep that. Okay, before I begin doing the plastic drop cloth around everything, I do want to clean this one more time. I have cleaned this once already with the alcohol and the microfiber, but you really want to get your fingernail on these edges of the logo to get any dirt off there, because the Plastidip will wrap around the logo and really grab on and make it durable. So the answer to your question, how long will this last? I have Plastidip on my Model 3 that I put on in June of 2019, and it still looks fine. I'll show you here. So these hold up well, as opposed to the wheels that I did. They only lasted about a year. Now granted, the wheels take a lot more abuse than logos, but you could also say, I mean, on the hood it takes a lot of abuse because it's, you know, direct and all that stuff, but on my Model 3 the logos are still looking pretty good. Actually, on my Model 3 I took off the logo on the front, so that's actually not correct, but on the back it's still looking pretty good. But you know, wheels are spinning at a high rate of speed and are on the highway, and they take a lot of abuse, so it's not surprising. And that was with 10 coats on the Plastidip on the wheels. So go check out that video, and then I've also got a video of me deciding to finally do powder coating on those wheels. So you just want to kind of work in the alcohol on the logo here, get it nice and clean. I can see the alcohol drying right before my eyes. That's why you want to use alcohol around the logo here, because you don't want any water or other liquid getting under the logo before you do this project. So I mean, I can see it drying right before my eyes. It's also kind of a warm day. Now I have done this in the past using like paper bags and blue painter's tape. But as you can see, this plastic drop cloth covers a lot of area. And it's super easy to cover a lot of area with not a lot of product from say Home Depot or Lowe's or whatever. And you want to cover as big of an area as possible because, again, overspray, yes, of course you can get it off. It's not a problem, but it's kind of a pain. So the more prep you can do, the easier it'll be later down the road. Kind of shake it out like a bedspread. Make sure there's no dirt and dust and debris and all that stuff. So I'm going to do either side here, as you can see, and I'll tell you why here in a second. But again, covering the entire hood area just because I don't want any overspray. And I'll do a wide shot so you can see how the setup looks when it's done. Just kind of taping. And I'll probably do some more on the nose. And I'm also going to do pretty tight around the logo. Anything that could experience little droplets of overspray, we're going to do right there. Now, if you're worried about my roll of tape, I've got another one. All right, time to go cut some more plastic drop cloth. Okay, so as you can see, I've painted off a not so even square around the logo, and you're probably asking yourself, Carrie, why in the world are you not taping directly to the edge of the logo? That's not how you do Plastidip. I see this mistake all the time, people taping right up to the logo. No, that's not how this works. You'll see the magic later on in the video, but basically you want to just make a square around the logo and make sure that's nice and tight. And we're going to spray this entire square, in this case with red, and you'll see the magic later. So take a look at, can I zoom out? I don't think I can zoom out. You can see how much I did the whole hood with plastic. I did everything below with plastic, except for that corner there. I think I'm going to cover that. I don't think it's going to spray down there. I think we'll be good. And we're just going to focus on this little square here with the logo on it. And again, it's much easier to use more of the plastic on the hood or whatever area you're plasti dipping, because you don't want to have to deal with rubbing all this off. It does come off. I mean, you could spray Plastidip on the whole car, even overspray, whatever. But you're going to have to rub it off by hand, and it's kind of a pain. So this is much easier. All right, so you see the Plastidip there and Hyperdip kind of hanging out in the sun there. It's going to be a warm day today, so I decided to throw it in the sun. You want the Plastidip kind of warm. It sprays more evenly and better. If you're in a cold situation, I wouldn't recommend doing this project, but if you have to, throw them in a bucket of warm water ahead of time for about a half hour. But in my case, I've had those guys sitting out in the sun, and they should be good to go when it comes time to go ahead and spray. Okay, I've got my Plastidip. The can is warm to the touch. As you can tell, I have my mask on. And so we're going to do our first coat. And the first coat is what they call the Tack Coat. T-A-C-K, I think. It's just so the rest of the coats kind of stick better. So, you know what? I'm going to take this off for a second. So the first coat is really, really light. We're not going to just overdo it. Just a real quick, light spray. And I'm going to do about 5 minutes of waiting after that coat. So, oh, you know what? I need a piece of cardboard to kind of spray ahead of time. You'll see what that's for. So let's get this guy on. There we go. Put the nozzle toward a spraying position. Lots of shaking, by the way. Lots of shaking. Let me go find some cardboard. You want to shake for about a minute. About a minute of shaking, just to get it nice and good. And between coats, I'm going to throw it back in the sun, since I have the sun today and it's kind of warm. But again, a warm bucket of water will work just as well. So I'm going to spray a real quick spray into the cardboard just to get everything loosened up and working. And then I'll do the first coat. Almost ready. We are ready. Do this. See how even that is? Should be good. A little practice doesn't hurt either. All right. Wow. I can already smell it through my mask. Get that tighter. Here we go. First coat. Real light. Just the tack coat. Here we go. About, I don't know, 12 inches away. And that's it. That's the first coat. You just want that really light tack coat, okay? Okay, time for the second coat. This one's going to be a little thicker. And we're going to try to go on the top edges, around the sides, that kind of thing. You want to get a full coverage on this. Also, more shaking. And I left it out in the sun while I was waiting. Also, while I was waiting, I started prepping the back of the car. The back of the car is in the sun, and so I want to flip the car around after I'm done with the front logo. I suppose you could do it in the sun. I just don't want to. Also, I'm doing a video here for you guys, so it's better right here. All right, so here we go, second coat. Actually, I would call this the first coat, because the previous first coat was more of a tack coat. Here we go. About 12 inches, foot away. Okay, another 5 minutes. The hardest part of this project is the waiting. Okay, time for our second coat, official second coat. While I've been waiting, I've been prepping the back of the car. You don't really need to see that. It's just more plastic and tape. Also been keeping these in the sun between coats. Basically, on a warm day, I'm going to do 5 minutes between. I'm using my timer on my phone. That way I don't forget. So I'm going to do a little more on the top here. I'm noticing I'm not getting enough coverage on the top of the logo first. So here we go. I'm going to do a practice spray first, just to loosen up the nozzle a little bit. Okay, time now for another coat. I want to mention the best part of Plastidip is if you mess this up, it comes right off. You just peel it off and start over again. Or if you don't, have enough coats and it peels away later. Or if you want to change colors. I mean, that's the beauty of this stuff, is it is not permanent. It is not ruining my paint at all. Practice coat. I'm getting red on my hands, I think. Okay, time for another coat. Again, sitting in the sun. I'm going to hit it from this angle now, just to make sure we get all the sides. I might actually come up from the top at one point too. You don't want to tilt the can too much though. That's kind of part of the problem. All right, I think we're up to our fifth coat. I'm not really good at the counting. And I think we're going to do a little more than I originally planned. I'm still seeing a little chrome up here on the top. And that's kind of the big deal here, is you got to keep looking. Keep checking out every angle. And make sure you're getting it all. Because you want a nice thick coat of this stuff. So when you take it off, in fact, I can see down here I'm going to need some extra coats. Okay, this was a little longer than the 5-minute wait because the phone actually ran out of battery. I got to charge that up a little. I think we're on coat 6, but don't quote me on that. Okay, I think we're on coat 7, but maybe not. And this is still Plastidip. I haven't even done the
the glossifier yet. We'll of course do a full walk around in the sunlight, but just wanted to give you an update. You know how that looks? This is official. It's an official Tesla hat from their website. Red's pretty close, I think anyway. But once the whole thing is done, we'll do a walk around of all the logos after it's finished, but it's looking pretty good. More coats, here we go. Okay, I think we got enough red on there. We're going to do the glossifier now. This is basically a clear version of Plastidip, and it gives it a little more shine. So we're going to do a few coats to make it seem like, I don't know, a satin finish rather than flat, which is what it's at right now. But not too much that it's going to be glossy. So let's see how this goes.
All right, so I think I'm pretty happy with how this is looking. I'm going to let it dry for probably a half hour to an hour. Let the whole square kind of cure, and then I'll remove it, of course, on video here. But I'm going to flip the car around, back it in so I can work on those logos now. But I think we're looking pretty good. Of course, we'll do a finished product kind of view. Was there some chrome there I saw? You know, the beauty of this, we could always hit it later. Just make another square. It's not a big deal. It's looking pretty good. Hopefully I didn't make it too glossy, but it could be because I can see the whole square and not just the logo punching through. All right, time for the back part.
All right, we're going to do the same drill here on the back end of the car. Going to do the tack coat first for our red and our black on our dual motor. Probably not going to record the entire process here for the back. It's basically the same as the front. Any tips I come up with along the way, I'll be sure to let you know. All right. Hyperdip. This is kind of a satin black with the glossifier built in. If you use this product, do not add the other glossifier. It will ruin it. It's built in. This is the only thing you need.
All right, so time to take all the plastic off, reveal the Plastidip finish, and see how it looks. I'm going to have some plastic tools with me just in case I need to get into the edge here and make sure it doesn't pull loose from the logo itself. But I'm anticipating this should be just fine. So here we go. And I kind of want to leave a square around it. You can tell this is all feels like rubber. So I want to leave a square around it as I'm removing and go from there. That should come right off. This one I'm going to have to hang on to. see as I pull it away from the logo, the stuff that's supposed to stay will stay, and the stuff that's not supposed to stay will not. Okay, so there's the square I was telling you about. And we'll start removing. I'm going to use this one first. And I think I'm going to go from the point up. So you just grab the corner of the square. It just kind of pulls up. And the edges should stay. Now, I'm going to be honest. I'm not entirely happy with the way this one came out. It's a little orange peely to me, which means I think I oversprayed on one of the coats. So it's not a big loss if this one doesn't come out just right. And see how there's a little edge right here? We'll poke that back in there. A little bit extra up here. And then we'll use the plastic tool to get in between here as well. Looking pretty good. So I got to lift one of these sides up. And again, if this one gets screwed up, it wouldn't be the worst thing. Definitely feels rubbery. Ooh, I got a piece of it. I got lucky. There it is. And tuck this guy under. And see how it just kind of hugs the edge? And any of the residual pieces there, you can kind of tuck those under. You can see the little pieces. Actually, this came out better than I thought. So this piece here might be a little tricky to get off. So this is all that's left. It's kind of cool. Amazing stuff. I gotta get that top right corner off, but take you in a little closer. I'll do a full walk around. It's really not horrible. And again, you can always redo it. That's the beauty of this stuff. So somehow I gotta get this edge off. Always use plastic tools like this around your paint, because you don't want to scratch the car doing a DIY. Got it. And then there's just these little pieces that kind of, I don't know, they kind of come out. Just tuck them under. But I think I got full coverage. There's no chrome showing. And based on the durability of my Model 3, this will last a long time. I'm going on 3 years on my black emblems on my Model 3. This month, actually. Next month. I think I did it about a month after I got the car. So that's not a bad run. 3 years on a half-a-day project, I'd call it. And again, most of the difficulty of this project is just sitting around waiting. It's kind of annoying. This piece here is being, you just kind of tuck them under there. And by the way, if you're wondering, it holds up well on a hand car wash. Now I don't know about a commercial car wash, but I wash all my cars in my driveway myself, and it holds up well. Like I said, 3 years. That's it. That's your front logo right there. Not bad. Okay, so time to take the plastic and the tape off. The first thing I want to show you is check this out. The overspray. And again, I was about a foot away from spraying, but look at it all. It's all over the place. It just kind of goes everywhere. And so that's why you want to do a lot of plastic. Kind of looks like a crime scene, to be honest. So yeah, absolutely do more plastic than you think, because even spraying a foot away, it got all the way down there. And this stuff is a pain to get the overspray off because it's just little dots of rubberized paint everywhere. All right, so let's take it off. Because the dual motor is a little trickier. It's a little more intricate. I might need to use a toothpick. So again, this is why you do the square, because ultimately you want to deal with just a square of Plastidip. And it just pulls right off. So I'm going to do top down on this one. I did bottom up on the front one. And we'll just see how this pulls away. And don't worry about the little excess. That's when you take this tool and kind of just tuck it under. And then the space here in between takes a little extra as well. And we'll just do a little cleanup work afterwards. So comes right down to the point. Look at that, that's all that's left. All right, so now I can really get in here and see. First of all, I want to get this middle thing up, where the detail work is really going to happen, I think, is the dual motor logo. And I don't think I'm going to pull the A. The A has that little tiny section in the middle. I think I'm just going to leave it. All right, that looks pretty good. So this, you know, and I'm going to tell you this, one of the big things about modding your car with stuff that is about the looks. Remember, the looks are all about how it looks and feels about 10 feet away. If you're right up on it, you are going to see the flaws, but not many people are going to be that close to your car. You know, people showing up on a traffic light behind you or seeing the car from far away, they are not going to see those flaws. So really, it's about how it looks 5 to 10 feet away. So I can tell you just by feeling it, something happened in the spraying at the bottom of this. So it's totally smooth and cool up here. Down here, it's like rough like sandpaper. I don't know what happened. I was running out. I was running out on the can, so maybe it's just a little uneven, but honestly, this one came out better than the front logo. This one looks pretty good. And again, it doesn't need to be perfect. And I think it looks better than the stickers, to be honest. You know, I'm sure you've seen the stickers where you just place them on top. The problem I have with those is you see the chrome on the other, you know, it's like an outline of chrome. This gets in behind and looks pretty solid. Okay, so that one's done. All right, let's move over to the dual motor logo, because I'm really liking the red part. All right, so first and foremost, let's get the, well, maybe we'll do that last because of the way this is working here. Because I left the, because this is a performance, this has the red line underneath it. So I'm going to pull it just from this corner and see how it goes. I have never done, you know, let me think. No, I don't think I've ever done anything this intricate with the letters being this tiny. So let's see how this R comes out. You can see the I pulled the chrome. I got to redo it. I pulled the chrome. The O did not stick. You saw it here, folks. All right, so I'm going to continue pulling the rest so I can learn for next time. You know what? I wasn't happy with this anyway because it feels like sandpaper. Something happened in the spraying process. So I screwed. By the way, once this happens, there's no recovery. You can't just put it back in place. As they say, it is what it is, and you kind of have to just go with it. Oh man, it's too bad because the front part of this, where it says dual, is pulling out just fine. Now this red thing I did on purpose. The red line I did not spray on purpose. So, hey, you know what? That's the beauty of this channel. I'm just a guy. I'm not an expert. I don't claim to be an expert. I'm not, you know, here to tell you that this is the absolute correct way to do everything. I'm kind of learning this stuff as we go. I have done a few Plastidip projects in the past, but like I said, I've never done anything this detailed, these letters, which is too bad because the rest of it's coming out okay. So hopefully you can learn from this. I might have to hit up Abstract Ocean on this one because they actually have the black one pre-done. Because this is pretty rough. Both how the Plastidip came off. Actually, that came off okay. But also it feels rough. It feels like sandpaper. So I don't know what happened in the spraying process. This was the Hyperdip, and on my wheels, when I did my Model 3 wheels with this stuff, it came out great. So I'm not sure, maybe I was too far away from the spray. I'm not sure. So there is a tip I do want to provide before we wrap up this video. If you do succeed on getting the dual motor sprayed properly, and you are removing all the Plastidip around the letters, getting the middle of the letters, the trick is a toothpick. It easily gets in there. For some reason, this doesn't work as well for getting the inside of these letters, and you just kind of pull it out. So here's the other O. So again, this is if you succeed, unlike me. Get that toothpick in there and pull that excess out of there, and it'll have that punch through look. You really don't want to leave the Plastidip on these O's or D because you want it to look OEM. You want it to look like original. So that is the secret. For some reason, the wood toothpick, it pulls it right out of the groove, and it's pretty easy then. I was having a hard time with the D using this plastic spooge, which is mainly for wrapping cars and stuff, but it was not getting in there and getting it out. This kind of grabs the Plastidip and pulls, and it's nice detailed. So I got all the excess off. Unfortunately, this will have to be a project for another day, but wow. Now that the logos have been done, you can see over here, the chrome dual motor really stands out, which kind of drives me nuts. I'm not a fan of chrome, but I'm going to go one of two ways. I'm going to either retry it, redo it, or I will probably hit up Abstract Ocean, which has basically that pre-done, pull this one off, put the other one on, and that's another video. So there you go. All right, so dechroming your logos with Plastidip is a pretty easy process. You saw some of my mistakes. Hopefully you won't make the same mistake, but you can change it into any color you want. I happen to use red. You can do black, flat black, glossy, whatever you want. With Plastidip, the beauty part of it is you can always change it at a later date, and you're not locked into any particular color. It comes off just as easily as it goes on. All you need is time. So hopefully this helped you out, and I totally appreciate you joining us here on the channel. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the bell, and we will see you on the next edition of Tesla Tips and Trips.